This is the Marvel Legends from Marvel Studios, The Infinity Saga. Marvel Studios Iron Man 1, the first Iron Man movie. 2-pack of Obadiah Stane and the Iron Monger. I picked up this set from my local Toy Kingdom store for a whopping $80. Luckily, that store had a 10% discount on Hasbro products, so it went down to just a little over $70. Still, it's a steep price for something like a Build-A-Figure and the regular figure. It should just be like 50 bucks. This should be like, what, less than 20 bucks. So maybe $60, $65 should be the price ceiling for this figure, but somehow the local importer decided to jack up all the prices of Hasbro products that they've been importing and putting on consignment at Toy Kingdom, Toys R Us, Toy Town, and whatnot. And which this thing makes me want to believe that you are better off buying stuff at hobby shops here in Manila at Green Hills, because they come out cheaper than retail. Okay, let's get these guys out of packaging. And here are Obadiah Stane and the Ironmonger out of packaging. And this set is absolutely marvelous. See what I did there? It's absolutely gorgeous. Definitely one of the best sets in the entire Infinity Saga series of figures. I really love how these two figures came out. I have them both posed with the Mark III, which was also from the Infinity Saga line. It's a single pack figure, and it scales beautifully with the Ironmonger and Obadiah Stane. Let me just get rid of Tony for a while. He doesn't stand a chance against the Ironmonger without the arc reactor on his chest. So the set includes all of this. What you see right here, 2 pairs of hands for the Ironmonger, the clenched fist hands as well as open hands. This one is sort of like a almost clenched, grabbing, sinister hand. This one is the reaching out hand when he pummels Tony. Also comes with a missile. We'll talk about this later. Obadiah Stane comes with the arc reactor that he took from Tony, as well as an empty suitcase. Blast effects include the shells of the ammo of the machine gun. You can remove that if you want to. Smoke effects, as well as this has been overly used Iron Man blast effect. I wish they could have given us a bigger blast effect, you know, something like what they're doing with the Transformers. This is it just feels way too small. The only thing I really appreciate with these blast effects is you can leave the smoke effect on the gun as though it's just finished emptying a round of shells, or you can actually plug it on top of the smoke, so it can be smoking and blasting at the same time. You can obviously just plug in the blast effect without the smoke if you wish. I just wish it was a little bit bigger. It feels a little puny. So yeah, very, very good. We'll talk about the Monger in a while. Let's move to Obadiah Stane. Obviously, it does not come with a stand. I think this is the Nick Fury. They cannibalized a lot of the parts from Nick Fury. But the head sculpt is definitely new. The hands are new. The arms are, I think, repurposed. Ties, repurposed jacket, and legs, as well as the shoes. But this head sculpt, this is what's selling this figure. It just feels a little bit too small for me. I don't know. Maybe it's just me. If it were just 5%, 10% bigger, I think it could really be perfect. I don't know. Do you guys think the size is okay? It just kind of feels a little bit small for me. Here is the arc reactor, which he stole or forcibly took from Tony with that, I forgot what that was, a sonic inhibitor or whatever. So very cool, very nice detail. And this is actually what he plugs in here in the Monger's chest. So Obadiah Stane, very, very cool looking figure. Great head sculpt. Just wish the head sculpt was a tad bit bigger. Okay, on to the Ironmonger. This is really the highlight of the set. It is incredibly posable. I was quite surprised at how well the figure posed. There are some limitations, though, that I will warn you about. Okay, let's talk about the articulation first, just to get it done and over with. So the head sculpt is on a double ball joint, which this is the new ball joint that they are using for the Star Wars figures as well as Marvel. It's got a ball joint on top and a ball joint at the bottom, so you can actually give him some really nice poses. The torso, you can rotate, move up and down, and side to side. It's a really nice universal ball joint. Shoulders go in and out, forward and backward, bicep swivel, hinge elbow. Wrists can go in and out and swivel. Ball jointed hips, ratchet, very tight. It feels like you're gonna break it. Thigh swivel, hinge knees that ratchet as well. Ankles do rock, and forward and backward very tightly. Now, here's the limitation I was talking about. The deltoids, or the shoulders, are connected at the back on the lateral obliques with these pistons. They are on ball joints. They move okay, but if you move them too much, they're gonna bend like that and curve, and you don't want that happening. I actually posed the figure way too much, the arm, and this thing just popped off like that. So you be very careful when you're posing it. That's a little bit of a limitation. It's not a deal breaker. It's just a hindrance to getting the figure in dynamic poses. Also, the top shoulder pads, they are connected to these pistons. This one is pretty tight. It doesn't fall off as much. This one is pretty loose. It just loves to pop off. The shoulder is on a swivel, so you can have the shoulder pads posed any which way you want, depending on the pose of the monger. So few limitations here and there, but just be careful when you're posing the figure, as they do tend to just pop off. Now, he does have a lot of soft pieces, like the thigh pieces right here. And if you're not careful like me, like I pose it too much, this piece right here got jammed in between the crotch piece and it kind of got dented. So it's great that they use soft pieces so they don't have to mold it. It doesn't make it too heavy and posing the figure, but it's soft enough that when it gets jammed in between pieces, it really just gets dented. So yeah, but other than that, I think the figure turned out great. It is beautifully sculpted. I love the matte finish of the gray plastic that they used. There's hardly any paint apps on the figure. They use separate plastic pieces for the head sculpt, mouth, and the eyes. Paint apps are only present here in the weapons. Other than that, everything is just gray plastic. You got some silver paint right here and there, highlights here and there, but absolutely gorgeous looking figure. The figure alone is going to get a 10 out of 10 for me. This one, perfectly done as well, except for the head sculpt, a 9.5 out of 10 for me. And right here, this is, if I can just show you guys, this whole section right here is what's selling the figure for me, I think. It is beautifully done. The only thing really missing is an opening cockpit where you can put, like, split his torso and stuff it in right there. That would have made the figure an 11 out of 10 for me, in my opinion. But no worries. You're not going to spend a lot of time opening the cockpit. I mean, if in the Monger, you're going to have him closed fighting with Tony Stark. Nobody, very rarely will you display him with an open cockpit with Obadiah. So yeah, I can understand budget restrictions and all that, but that would have been the clincher for this figure to be a more than perfect figure. Obadiah's torso fitting inside that cockpit of the Ironmonger. So let me just show off Tony very, very quickly, just so you guys can appreciate the scale, the efforts that Hasbro really went through just to give us perfectly scaled figures. They just look really, really nice together. I mean, Iron Man 1 was really the movie that got me into collecting Marvel Legends again, as well as got me back into the comic books. So this movie has a very, very special place in my heart, and I absolutely love this set. I think that's going to do it for us now. Oh, I did forget one more thing. Just the missile. I promised I'd talk about this just before we go. If you remember, the movie just popped somewhere here, like... So I'm not entirely sure where to put this, except maybe here. It's not completely accurate, but they kind of missed an opportunity right here with this missile. They should have put an extra piece that you could plug in here so that the missile could rest here. Unfortunately, that didn't happen. So the only way to put this missile is right here on the piston. It's not perfect, but it'll do. I mean, it'll do. So This is as good as it gets, folks. This is the best Ironmonger Mark III Obadiah we've gotten from Hasbro. I mean, if you remember 2008, those really tiny figures that they released when they just acquired the Marvel Legends line, nothing. Those figures absolutely blown away by these new figures. And I'm really glad Hasbro is going back, trying to give us better versions of figures from the entire Infinity Saga. I'm going to end this video right now. It's too much gushing for this set. The set is going to get a 10 out of 10 for me. I absolutely love it. I highly recommend this set. If you guys can get it under $80, if you can get it like $60 or $70, go get it. Definitely one to keep if you're a big Iron Man fan, if you're a fan of the Infinity Saga. Let me know in the comment section what you think of this set. Hit that notification bell so you never miss out on any of my latest video reviews. And if it's your first time here, please subscribe. Thanks for watching.